everyone welcome everyone to our monthly edition of Agritech Tech Talks. So we started this some time back with the hope of engaging the agri-tech community, because as you know, I mean, agri-tech is very important and it is very underutilized and stated that as the farmers' protests showed, the farming community is very important and it's very large in India. And it's 2022 and still they haven't been taken to the next level. So we are hoping that agri-tech is going to be that bridge that is going to take it to the next level. So this month's topic, what we are discussing is transforming agri service delivery with digital tools. And to discuss this, as usual, we have a stellar panel of experts who will guide you through this topic. So first up, we have Sateesh Nukala, co-founder and CEO of BigHaat. Welcome, Sateesh.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon.
Yeah. And then we have Rajendra Lora, co-founder FreshoKartz. Welcome, Rajendra.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Sunil. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. And we have Nishant Mahatre, co-founder Gramophone.
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks, Sunil.
Yeah. So anyway, with that, I've introduced my complete panel, and hopefully we'll have a very engrossing discussion. Now, again, I'll like jump straight to it. Of course, even though hopefully the pandemic is over and things are going to return to normal in 2022, that still remains at the top of the mind. So, as we have seen in the last 2 years, the pandemic has turned everything upside down, but it saw a lot of tech acceleration. So, or as it is being called, tech acceleration, and most industries saw tech acceleration. So I would be curious to know that what happened in the field of agri-tech. So if you look at agri-tech, did tech acceleration happen? How did they cope with the pandemic? And what were the general trends of the last 2-3 years?
Yeah. Maybe if I can.
Yeah, please, Satish, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So what we have seen in the last 2 years is totally unprecedented, I can say. Okay, so we have seen a huge transformation in the entire rural internet population, right? So at the users, so it is all triggered by, I can say, geo entry, or so with internet affordability, then smartphone has become affordable, and that has been hugely accelerated by the COVID. So where today we are talking about 70% of the farmers, right? So 70% of 150 million or 15 crore farmers today are owning a smartphone, at least one smartphone, per family. It's a very great thing. So which is like, probably 20% or so 3 years before. So that is the kind of growth or the, transformation what we have seen. And, when these users, right? So many of them are new users. When they started adopting to the smartphones or internet, they started with the entertainment, right? So where movies or shows, or some kind of chart, right? So it all started with that, right? So then they became familiar. So we call them like digitally literate now, right? So it's a new class, and which drove more awareness, and as awareness has increased, we have seen people started accessing the information. So that means there is a clear transition from entertainment to information led by awareness, and that awareness has led to the aspiration. Just how it all happened in the urban, right? So more awareness, more aspiration, and that aspiration now is leading to the farmers majorly, they want better products, better services, right? So they are not settling for less. So that is the behavioral change that we have seen. And if you see top three apps, right? So in that order, and, these are the apps like YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, right? So these are the apps most of the farmers use, right, in that order, where farmers are consuming a lot of information again, right? So they need, of course, the support in regional language. They need more of a video format. They need more of a visual format rather than a text format. And increasingly they are accessing to day-to-day information, related to farming, related to schemes, or whatever you call, okay, on all these kind of apps. And again, banking services, again, we have seen a lot of improvement, okay, with the Jandan kind of, and where payment services are becoming digital. And at least from my village, right? So I come from a remotest village. Today, if you look at most of the shops, right, including agri-input shops, right, agriculture related shops and regular shops, kirana shops, everyone is using today the wallets, right? Either Paytm or Google. So that is the kind of transformation what we have seen. All this is really accelerating the adoption of digital platforms by the farmers, and I can say we are just at the tip of massive transformation here, and it is a good thing for entire not just the sector, right, but as an economy for Indian economy. So these are my comments.
Right. So, so we also had like pandemic was like it was a like not a good time, but still we have seen like transformation in every single industry, and the same thing was happen in agri. So I'll give you example like how we have seen that. So we used to have like around 50 plus hubs, and like farmer used to come there physically and then buy agri inputs. But when like the lockdown happens, was that we told farmers, so before only like 20% farmer used to take the deliveries, but post the lockdown, almost like 60-70% farmer were opting for the deliveries, because they also realized like, yes, this is the like new thing. And before, because they never seen something like that. And they also thought like world work in the way they were working the from last 10-15 years. But then they see like, I think they also have to change opt for the technology. So how we have also utilized that, we ask farmer that if you want delivery, so you also place orders through the mobile application, or maybe you place orders through our call center. So there we also post one step to them that you also use this, and then you will get these services, and the delivery will be free of cost. So this is how even farmer also thought like things are changing now, and about the technology like what we have developed in last 2-3 years. So at least like out of 100 farmers, if you ask like can you buy these products online, so they at least heard one or two companies name now. And before like 3-4 years, they only like if you ask 100 farmer that how you can buy agri input, so they used to say that there are shop in the village and we have to go there and then we have to buy these products. But now most of the farmer got one or two calls from some company. They know about them. They also know about like these companies also sell on offers. They also know like they provide home delivery. This much time they take. So this is how the awareness among farmer has been increased, and the biggest role was from the technology companies. Still, if you talk about the product companies like input companies, like all the big companies, still like they are not reaching directly to the farmers, or if they are reaching, they are also reaching through these platforms. But I think that the whatever number of players in India today, like before like 2 years in research, there were like 450 plus startups. I think biggest role played was from the startups, that at least farmer hearing about this and they started like buying. They started, and we like one more example, like we used to buy for Reliance from like last 5 years. So when we tell farmers that Reliance will procure directly from your farm and they will come through us, so farmer also see the first time that companies are also buying from directly from their farm gate. And we used to ask them that you just have to, whatever product you have, you just need to submit that in mobile application, and you need to download it, and you will also get some premium. And they were getting the premium, and they were using the technology. So I think from the corporate side and from the startup side, they try to make farmer use technology, and that also has like seen as a like positive impact on the farmers and farmer using tech. And I think going ahead in next 4-5 years, there will be every farmer who at least like order one time online. Those that kind of ecosystem will be there, I think. So that's my take on that and my experience of working with the farmers.
Right. I think I agree with both Sateesh and Rajendra. I think when it comes to purchase of agriculture inputs, there is a huge factor of trust. So, people were maybe buying stuff from, Flipkart or Amazon's, but they were probably not that, into buying things which, impacted their livelihoods. But with COVID, that transition has happened. So it's not only that people who were not using an online medium have moved to an online medium, people who were already using on an online medium but were not looking for buying agriculture related products online have actually had to actually try that online information online facility, and were mostly presently surprised by it, and they are now a convert. So that's what we saw when it came to pandemic and serving customers during such tough times. But additionally, what we also saw that was that it's not just us. So when things got tough, even the incumbents, I would say, the current distribution channel, the retailers and dealers and distributors, those guys also they were pretty quick to adopt new let's say practices. So when there were lockdowns and only few essential services were being allowed to, so these guys also started providing delivery. So in many of the areas that where we were operating, we saw the traditional channel also kind of moving towards to a quasi online kind of a model. And from a tech perspective, or a opening new transforming agriculture sector through technology, this is also a very key trend right now, because this might be very small at this point of time, but the volume or the number of people involved in the regular distribution channel is really huge. And even if a small percentage of those people start moving towards this, there would be a need to develop technology solutions for those entities, those entrepreneurs. So it's not just about we or say somebody else selling directly to farmers. The normal regular channel would also need technology solutions which would cater to these kind of use cases that they might also be keen to adopt in coming future.
So that's good to hear. So it seems a lot of progress has taken place during the pandemic, and let's hope like we can continue with this progress. That would be interesting to watch. But like already all three of you have touched upon it a little bit. But maybe if you can expand a bit, what specific things has your company done to kickstart the agri-tech movement in the country in the last 2-3 years? Whatever in terms of apps, in terms of technology, in terms of actual breakthroughs on the ground. So, I mean, if you can have specifics, that would be easier to understand.
Sure. So I think for us, we right from the beginning, we have been of the opinion that we are here. Our existence is because we want to increase the productivity of farmers or reduce their cost of cultivation. Now, when we started off, it was more of a online call center versus an app kind of a thing. But as we have moved forward, we have started soil health programs where we have seen people, getting an improvement in their yields by up to 40% just by not just, so they didn't follow the entire package of practices that we gave them. They just maybe followed 20 or 30% of it, and still they were able to get that kind of results. So we basically tried to bring in portable soil testing machines to our centers, where the cycle time for soil testing could be reduced and people can get recommendations pretty soon. We also built an entire POP or package of practices where farmer, we can provide him a hand holding services right from even before sowing the seed till the harvest. So all these things, like these were primarily, we wanted to drive them through mobile app, and we built an app first. But then in the initial phase, we realized that if we want to really kind of take the advantage of technology to every farmer, we also need a way to communicate this information even to somebody who's not having a smartphone. So then we built all these technology and all these solutions in our internal customer management system. So people without the smartphone also can kind of access all these advisory and agronomy services, which again has resulted in a lot of increase in income. I mean, there are examples where people have actually, so they stuck with us for a year or so, and we have seen their progress. I mean, earlier they used to be on bikes and all. They bought a car, and they themselves uninitiated, in an uninitiated manner, said that our association with Gramophone has enabled us to do these kind of stuff. So that's pretty much what we have seen on the ground in terms of examples or in terms of numbers, if you speak.
I think Sateesh, you are also speaking, so maybe you can go next.
So we at BigHaat, right? So we established this platform in the year of 2015, and we took a very different approach. We wanted to go as a digital first model instead of going regional. and even today, that's how we are expanding into, and that's where we have set up like first of its kind, platform in India, right? So setting up one digital commerce, or we call new age commerce, for Indian farmers, when no one else really thought about it, and everyone kind of ruled out, having such company gaining any traction, right? So but we strongly believed in it, and though it took a lot more time for us to see the maturity in the internet ecosystem, and also farmers becoming more digitally literate, right? So but the moment we are able to see that kind of maturity in the ecosystem, with the numbers that we spoke about, so we were able to leverage on it, right? So what we have built over the years, the entire platform, or the supply chain, or the kind of experience and the expertise, right? So we were able to kind of tap into that, and today we are driving exponential growth, I can say. And in the initial years, again, we did not invest much into the tech, so we believed in an MVP, right? So we went with a bare minimum kind of a product, and achieving the product market fit, and also studying the needs of the customer, understanding the the needs, the market dynamics and all of that, right? So and once we have seen the internet ecosystem is maturing, that's when we started significantly investing into technology. And it's like a coincidence that when just before COVID started, we launched a new age platform, right? So with a lot more advanced features and services to the farmers on our app. And with the COVID, really, it's like a tailwind, right? So blessing in disguise, I can say. So where farmers started increasingly adapting to. So the idea is, how can we create a lot more touch points, and reduce the current friction what farmers have with the local retailers, and taking the advantage of the technology, and simplifying their life. We started with the pre-harvest, of course. Now we are into post-harvest as well. And just to give you the numbers, today we are talking about like over 6 million farmers have engaged on the platform since inception across all the states and union territories. And we are talking about a million farmers coming and leveraging on our services on a monthly basis, which is like we have seen tenfold increase in the last 2.5 years, right? So that is the kind of growth that we have seen, and this is where now we are investing more and more into technology. But it's not just about the technology, it is about the experience that we are offering to the farmer to digitize the entire journey.
So I think Sateesh was right about that. The adoption was less, and like people were focusing more on the technology platform. And we have also experiment the same thing. Like we have initially, so we started with like only internal management apps and internal management CRM systems, that we will do business with that, and we'll see like when farmer will be in a position that they can adopt for the technology platforms or mobile applications. Then almost like 2 years back, we have launched a mobile application for farmers. But with initial traction, then we have seen like from every area or like from every pin code, there are few farmers, they are active and others are not active. With that learning also, we realized, I think, why not utilize these farmers to go to the other farmer and to educate the other farmers. So almost like 6-7 months back, we have launched a like FreshoKartz mobile application. So the Sarthi, how it works, like let's say in every village, so in India, like there are around 140-150 farming families in every village. So our target is like how we can find out these 1, 2, 3 active farmer or influence farmer who also understand the technology, who also they also want to use the technology. And based on that, our target is that we provide proper training to these people, make them trained, that they work on behalf of FreshoKartz in terms of like part-time worker, or like they can work full-time, and accordingly they also earn money. So that is our target, and we have seen it like in last 6-7 months, the progress is like we are satisfied with the way they are working, because these people, they really understand the technology, and there are people, they are using apps of different companies and doing some part-time business, like maybe for only for financial products, or any other way. Maybe they are doing something on the social media. So that's what we have seen in last 6 months. And there are like, you will only find some ways through that you can make the adoption, because tomorrow it will not happen that 100% farmer are using the technology, right? They are using the mobile application though. So, but still the adoption is like not that fast. But I think with the ways like we have used through like these farmer can share the product detail, or maybe farmer want to sell something, so they will connect with these farmers, these Sarthi farmers, or we can say VLEs, village level entrepreneurs. They connect with them and they just fill the detail that I want to sell these products. And these VLE Sarthis working on the commission based model, so they are also earning on every single transaction. So this is how after like so many experiments, we have seen like we will also focus on the farmer mobile application, but meanwhile we also have to keep these people separately who are like little bit advanced influencer and they want to do something with the technology. So this is how that's the biggest change we have seen in the adoption. And as like if you talk about FreshoKart, and which we till a certain level where we have been able to successful in terms of the technology. So this kind of platform is even making us going ahead and successful in this terms.
So it's nice to see so many options that are available for Indian farmers, and their adoption is increasing. So I like taking all these ideas forward. At the beginning, like Sateesh talked of the success of geo and digital literacy. Rajendra was talking of awareness; it has increased. How so many deliveries are happening. Nishant then talked about the distribution channel. So I like that everything seems ripe. So I'm just thinking, how can all the agri services deliveries be made seamless with digital technologies? And for doing this, what are the solutions that have come out so far?
Probably I can go first.
Yeah, Satish, you
So
can go.
yeah, no. One thing is just to continue from my last statement. Right, the experience is very important more than the technology, because we are talking about the audience is at the bottom of the pyramid here, right? So the user experience, use of use, the whatever you offer, and bringing that awareness with that use of use, and content, offering the content again in vernacular languages, right? And their personalization. So in terms of discovery of products or services, that means we are talking about even before farmer knows what he would need, we should be able to understand what are the needs of different products and services the farmer would need. That means when he comes onto the platform, we should be able to guide rightly, right? So that you would know what you would need at that particular point in time in the crop cycle. And even offering the content in video formats, right? So which will again increase the adoption to the farmers. These are all really key in order to offer seamless services to the farmers. For example, I wanted to give a couple of features that we have recently implemented, like Kisan Vedika. So we have seen a lot of farmers on Facebook, right? There are millions of farmers today exchanging the information, right? So learning and sharing. So we wanted to create an agri focused kind of a Facebook community platform. And today there are lakhs of farmers talking to each other, connected to the even the experts, right? So where they are able to instantly get the guidance, where they are also encouraged to share their practices, and so that other farmers would be able to come to know about the innovation, or the practices adopted by other farmers. That means we are talking about the way the information travels is totally changing. Another feature is like crop doctor. So today again, where farmer can just take a picture of diseased plant, the photograph, immediately would be able to access the diagnostics and also the solution, right? So again, he doesn't need to really depend upon anyone. So he would be able to see the kind of stress that is there in the plant, what kind of disease, and what kind of products are the solution that he has to in order to minimize the damage. So a lot of these things, right? So one is the feature of the technology, but how the farmer, one is the awareness, how we are bringing that awareness, and how easily the farmer can access to these solutions. And once you understand the farmer, once you own the farmer, then you would start offering various services and products. So even we are thinking in our roadmap, like not just the agri input products, right? Or the community, but beyond that we want to offer various other services. That could be the financial services like loans or insurance, or local services. It could be equipment rentals, equipment servicing, all of that. So that means we are talking about a very holistic digital ecosystem, right from the pre-harvest to the post-harvest. So that's how we want to kind of we are in the right direction, of course one step at a time, but definitely we are in a path to build the digital first holistic ecosystem for the Indian farmers.
Yeah, I think so. In like our case, what we strongly feel that making farmers aware about like any of the services could be the best way to deliver those services to the farmers. And there could be many channels to delivering these services to farmers, like through the technology or through some physical technology model. Like there could be some physical outlets through that you or like take your services to the farmers, or there could be like and what we are doing after so many experiment, we have also like tried fully physical model in the past, where like everything was delivered to farmers through physical model. And I think that was the model where everyone was like able to understand the services properly. But as a business, that only like going physically take too much time to reach more number of farmers. But if you talk about like what could be the best way, so still like in India the physical ways are the best. Even in urban also we see like many companies first go pure digital, then they start opening their outlet. Even big companies also doing going on the similar method. And in India that's what working from like so many years. But still like in the rural the same thing also work, but as a business like people also want to, the business also want to grow faster. So what other ways could be to deliver these services to farmer, and that is like technology. Now how you take your technology to the farmer, so as I like told at like FreshoKartz, what we have done like making, so like let's say in Rajasthan we have more than like 45,000 plus villages. So going to 45,000 villages or more than 5 million farmer, how we can do that? That's possible that either everyone download our mobile application and then start using that. That's the directly going to the technology through technology. But if we talk about like literacy rate or like how many farmers are having uh, smartphones, so that number is also lesser. So now like making more people who use that, using their, ask them to use your platform and then talking to other farmers. So like physical model then a digital model, so mix of hybrid models can, I think, work in more sustainable way, that you can work with more farmers, take all the services to the farmers. Now the one more part is like adoption from the farmer side, and how the adoption will be increasing. That also increase from with the trust, because most of the farmer also work on the trust basis. Let's say what happen in every village, let's say one farmer tries some new crop, then next year few of their neighbor farmers start trying that new crop, and then after like other farmers do the new crop. If any company will go and ask farmers, so there will be only one or two farmers, they will like say yes to grow the new, like use new seed or new pesticide or anything like. And I think everyone experienced that. And like I also come from farming background, being a farmer son, or like being a part-time farmer till my secondary education. So I have seen that like we don't trust much to the new things. So building a network of people who influential people, and making them like trained and taking these services through these people, like as because we are working on that model, but still we believe, I think that could be the best model through that we can like go to the farmer, take any services. Like today we also like tie up with some banks that if they want to even open a bank account, so there also these people trust. And if we directly go to the farmer that this is a new company's bank account you want to open, they will say no. But with someone from their network will say they will do that. So this is how we have already integrated more than like 10 services today, and doing transaction with almost all the services like agri-input, health insurances, machinery services, and like it's working out well in like our case.
Right. Thanks, Rajendra and Sateesh. I think I am more gravitating towards what Rajendra is saying. In my view as well, I think when it comes to delivery of services, technology is a big enabler. When it comes to agriculture, it has to be a mix of physical and digital. And additionally, the kind of problems that farmer face, if you really want to kind of improve his life, you would have to go for a full stack kind of a solution. So you might you might just work at providing agronomy services which might improve his productivity, but you would also have to work on the output side to provide him the best possible rates of his produce. And you probably would have to work on the financial side as well, so that he can buy right, so that he has resources to actually be able to maybe deploy the best possible practices, or maybe hold the inventory till maybe a good rates are coming in for his produce. So the problem with agriculture is it's a complex, and it's a there are it's a complex sector, and farmers are usually at a disadvantage. So I think the approach that we have taken is to build a full stack solution for the farmers, and that does not necessarily mean that we have to do everything. We can be a platform through which a financial service provider can reach out to farmer, or we can be a intermediary through which a big large processor can reach out to farmers and can buy their produce. That's one way of deploying technology to deliver services to the farmers. But another aspect also is basically enabling the ecosystem. So let's say tomorrow everybody has our app, but if there are few things which are required physically for the farmer to be able to plow his field, or do a spray, or transport his produce from point A to point B. So there is a huge element of physicality in the whole thing, and therefore the way forward that I think is phygital. It's a mix of physical plus digital, and you can't actually provide you can't be physically present throughout the entire country in each and every village, or at least it will take you a huge large amount of resources. So that's where the existing ecosystem and enabling them through technology becomes critical. So in my view, the existing ecosystem players building tech solutions for them, such that they can use those solutions to improve the way they are operating their businesses, and developing high tech solutions which probably people like us can do through resources, and taking them through to the farmers using this distribution channel of existing ecosystem. That is how the approach should be if we want to take the services to the farmers. And if you look at in the developed markets as well, any agri-tech startup, most of them have a physical element to it. So whether you look at any farm automation or farm management services, or you look at any you look at farmer business network, they earlier started with just matchmaking, and now they are actually into providing and inputs to farmers, selling inputs to farmers. So I think at the end of the day, all of these directions have to converge into a digital plus physical kind of a format.
I agree, and like Nishant, you while talking, you talked of like productivity, and also I think that's also a very important thing. I'd like to carry that forward in the next round, because again, it's all about the farmer. The problem is right now Indian farmer is very labor and capital intensive. So how can the common Indian farmer get help in increasing agricultural productivity and efficiency? Is because that's the only thing which is going to make any difference. So has there been any concrete efforts to do that? What are the results, both in terms of any either your company has done, the industry has done, or the government has done? So I'd be interested in hearing about it.
So I think when it comes to productivity, there are two parts to it. One is farmer having that information or knowledge which he needs to act upon, and then he having the means to act. So you might know what's the right thing to do, but he might not have the resources to actually deploy that solution. Or another scenario could be that he may not have that information at all. And again, when it comes to increasing productivity, if I speak specifically about our efforts, like I said, right from the beginning, our hypothesis has been that we are here for the farmer, and therefore agriculture advisory has been one of our cornerstones. So as I mentioned earlier as well, the entire tech stack that has been built enables us to provide handholding to the farmer right from harvesting, right from sowing to harvesting. And this basically has resulted in a significant improvement in yields for people who have followed our package of practices. So in the areas that we have operated, people who have followed our package of practices have seen improvements in productivity by up to 40%. This has primarily been through better soil management, better nutrition management. But again, there is also a factor of weather and uncertainty in weather. So that kind of impacts the yields of the farmers quite a lot. As far as even the input industry is concerned, lot of efforts and does go into providing information to the farmer. Every input industry kind of provides information to the farmer as far as what is the right way to use products and what is what's to be avoided and what's not to be done. But bringing it all together, and providing it in a to the farmer in a form that is consumable for him. So there is there are loads of information and knowledge in the books, but that's not something that a farmer can consume. There is a loads of information about products from input industry, input players, but farmer kind of needs a solution that he can consume, and that's something that we have tried to build. As far as the when I say, if I think at the government level, the things that government can do is basically take projects up which helps farmers on say land mapping and rain water mapping and things like satellite imagery, which can provide right amount of real time information about crop health of the crop and availability of soil in the moisture in the soil. Those kind of things, that's something I believe should be taken up more like a government kind of entity, and then be made available to players like us or any other who wants to provide that information, maybe work on that information, make it consumable to farmer. So at a government level, those are the kind of things that could be taken up at our own level. Like I mentioned, soil testing, providing package of practices is something that we have done and made huge results, got great results out of that. Those are the things that the farmer needs.
Yeah. So just to add to what Nishant said, right, I think he brought in a very good point, the curated information. So today, what is happening in the conventional supply chain or conventional distribution system, there is a lot of information that is available, but unfortunately, the farmer doesn't know what is relevant for him, or it is not provided to him in the way that he is looking for, so that he's not really consuming that information. That's where all the agri-tech startups, if you see, whatever problems they are solving, information holds the key, or the knowledge, empowering the farmers with the right knowledge. That's where we are all trying, so to provide that information again in the vernacular content, in the video format, in the visual format, and at the right time, right? So the relevance also, like so that means we need to understand so the crop, the stage of the crop, the weather conditions, a lot of those parameters, and providing that highly personalized technical guidance will go a long way. And along with that, we are also solving, giving the right inputs. So if you generally what is happening again in the conventional distribution, the farmer walks into a retailer, and most of the times retailer is pushing a lot of unwanted products, because he knows clearly that that's how he's going to make money, and that's where cultivation cost is increasing, and the yield and quality of the crop is also coming down significantly. So again, by giving the right knowledge or empowering with the right knowledge, we are also giving the right products to the farmers. So that means we are talking about reducing the cultivation cost with the high relevance, and increasing the yield significantly, and also quality of the crop, and of course the productivity. And I just want to bring up one point here, with all the agri-tech startups, right? So what has been changed? If you see in the traditional sector, if you want to introduce a new product or a new technology, it takes years, because it's completely distributed market, unfragmented, unorganized market. So totally, from the top to the down, right? So before it reaches to the farmer, okay, there is a lot of an effort, by the manufacturer, by the service provider, because he has to tune, the distributor, lot of dealers in the chain. So that is all now cut down, right? So today we are able to directly reach out to the farmer, and we know what are the needs of the farmer. At BigHaat, we have introduced a lot of new products, that generally would take years. Lot of there are brands, not just the popular brands. They may have very good field network. but there are tier 2, tier 3 brands. They don't have the kind of presence the way Bayers or Cotiva has, right? So, but we were able to bring the visibility of those products, and made sure that the products are aware, to the farmers, right farmers again at the right time in the crop cycle. Because of that, we have seen huge improvement, in some of the crops for some of the regions, right? So, for example, for chili, we introduced a product that can cure the virus or that can reduce the damage to the the chili virus, right? So because of that product, a lot of farmers have gained more than 20 to 30% yield, right? So now today, that the vendor doesn't have any presence, but we created that presence. So this is a significant advantage that we are creating, right? So these kind of agri-tech channels, and that will go a long way in order to increase the profitability per acre for Indian farmers.
Right. I think, and from my side also, like, I think if farmer can able to get the right product on right time with the right advisory, so that can like increase a good amount of yield for farmers. And we see like many practices, many practical examples. Like I'll give example, like there was a farmer near to one of our center. Like there was complete losses in his chili crop, and there was lockdown, so no company was able to go there, and he was unable to understand that through the call center. And we even I personally visited the farm post once things were normal, like just after normal. So there was visit plant, and then we met that farmer. He told like last year, like every year, like there are every 2 3 times they have to use a different type of doses to to prevent these different type of disease and all. So like farmers required after the technology companies, after the startups, before only like agri input companies used to go to the field to sell their produces. Now today, like more than like these 10 15 20 startups, they have more than like thousands of people working in their on their call center team, working on their field team, and they are providing advice to farmers. And by default, these farmers are buying these products, so we don't have to like sell the product. We only have to advise farmer that how you can uh, prevent the disease, or what could be the best seed which you can use. Even like I will give you example of mustard. Only using a right seed at the right time properly can also, like, there are like 50% difference in the productive because of the right seed and on the right doses. So it's a like huge difference which can be created by just small steps. And I think now we are mostly that I can only tell about the tech companies, that everyone on the right direction, that at least farmer are getting benefited and really their yield is getting improved. We like even don't do much studies and on that, but if we ask like 10 farmers, still there will be like everyone with this advice, they like their yield got increased. Even they are using new products, because what used to happen that there was limited, like there was limited availability of quality seed or some specific company seed. And I'll give you example of like greenhouses or these poly houses. So poly houses used to be built almost near to big cities only, because their farmer had to use some very like specific quality seeds and pesticide and all. So like I from Jaipur, like 50 kilometer far, villager or farmer don't want to put a poly house, because they can't come to Jaipur and buy the seeds now. And today everything is available at their doorstep or near to those areas. So, and usually like from normal cropping pattern, these poly houses are giving like almost like 10x higher results. So this is how farmers are increasing their productivity, by using the newest technologies or new companies, or by that they are also now aware. So they started like working on these methods, and they also started earning more.
So yeah, okay. So actually, before I like go towards the end and ask for your suggestions, I'm like curious about one thing. Like if you look at most of the startups in Silicon Valley, they were predominantly urban with an urban culture, and that same culture came to India. But if you look at like this is you are in a unique. This is agri-tech startups are in a rural domain. Like others are usually it's an urban solution which is also used in B towns and villages. And even Western agriculture is also very modernized and mechanized. So you are in a very unique. So I'm just wondering, how is it? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Is the regulation problem? So because you are in a separate class of your own. So I'd like to, maybe I don't know. It could be an anecdote or easy. I'd be interested to know how it is to operate as an agri-tech in India.
I think it has its own challenges. but that also makes life interesting. You know, if I mean, on the positive side, you get to see the countryside and be there with the farmers among fields, which is something maybe in an urban setup you people usually try to create, or carve time out of their lives to actually have that experience. But we kind of get to have that experience in our day-to-day work. So that's the bright side. Also, the brighter side is, to actually be on the ground and see the realities of large part of the country and large people, significantly large proportion of the population. But like I said, it has its own challenges. Like there are challenges in terms of just how vast our country is, and how distributed the villages and the population are, and to actually be able to deliver services to their doorstep, you kind of need to build things from scratch, things which we take for granted. Say for example, a logistics, a delivery third party logistics provider might be very happy to deliver products for you in an urban setup, but when it comes to a rural setup, you would have to first set up a delivery network of yourself if you want to deliver that products. So also on the regulatory side, although again this is a bit of a I can understand how and when the regulations were formed and with which spirit they were formed, but I think agriculture regulations are a bit outdated. They need to be updated with respect to the new realities or new things which have come up, and especially say there are things about which the law is silent. So probably the law should maybe take a call and decide what the law wants on this, on a particular aspect. So those are the things which as far as regulations are concerned, if you ask me, should come up to speed with the current era, honestly. So I'm not going to go into specifics here, but that's how it is. But yeah, I mean, the other thing that you realize is that in rural setup, there are many things which you think will not work, might just work, because people are used to working on the basis of their word or the weight of their word. You don't need, you might think that you would need a very robust, reliable system and process to deliver a product to a far off corner of the country, but somehow you realize that even if it's not there so robust, you can just depend on the people, because that's how they operate. They even in a village, they if they tell you something, they kind of follow through with it many times. So that social control is much more stronger in the rural community. So that's what I think I have experienced, and sometimes it surprises me.
So just to
Rajendra,
add to, just to add to Nishant, right? So definitely I echo with him on the regulatory and on logistics. So regulatory is a gray area, and the laws were outdated definitely. So I'm sure this is the time now, both for pre-harvest and post-harvest. As unfortunately, we have seen, the farm laws were revoked. Okay, so which is not a good sign, but definitely I'm sure at least the thought process and the thinking started. So in the future, this would come back. And again, the pre-harvest, there are a lot of gray areas. So with respect to the models that we are building, we are scaling. So we would like to see government coming forward and addressing the challenges, and that will also help us for us to accelerate, right? So faster, and also ease operations as well. And logistics, again, of course, government can do a lot, and even private industry is maturing with respect to the logistics part, right? So for the rural, because everyone see there is a huge opportunity, it is totally untapped. That's where even the logistics industry, I'm talking about private logistics industry, is also setting their eyes on taking a bigger pie, right? So from this opportunity, which is a good thing again for startups like us. And of course there is more maturity and more the robustness that we are looking forward to see in the coming years. And then when it comes to the government, again, we are talking about very disorganized market. So government also can encourage providing data stack, or providing a lot of data that can again cut down our marketing cost, okay, our operational cost significantly down, because everyone would need this, right? So once we know the profile of the farmers, it would be easier for us to kind of provide customized or tailor-made solutions. So these are all various things. So definitely there are a lot of challenges unlike urban. And what keeps us motivated, since we are all in the social sector, and definitely you should be a farmer to serve a farmer, that kind of mindset you need to. So that should keep you motivated, unlike in urban, right? So where it is more of a convenience. But in the rural, I always believe that here we are changing the lives, they're transforming the lives, not just giving the convenience. So that will keep all of us motivated, in spite of there are a lot of challenges on the way.
Yeah, and I think if you are building something in agri, so you should feel like you are on your own, and it can take any amount of time to build that to become successful. Here, like, it's not that someone only comes for fun or they have a knowledge that they can build anything in any segment. So here, like, you should have a set of experiences. You should have that mindset that it can take like 10 year, 20 year to build something, because the market is like, as I told you, everything is like building. It feel like you are building everything from scratch. It's not like this thing was worked in like in West or maybe in USA, and which we are just replicating here in India, because it's totally different. And in like most of our urban startups or urban unicorns, we have seen like this something was worked in some other country and that was working perfectly in India. Here, like the things which are working in tier one cities, it's you can't believe that that will be working in the rural. So there are like challenges, like you should have that kind of mindset. There is a huge opportunity, like there could be like more than hundreds plus unicorns in the same segment. There is no competition. And in terms of the people, support from the external factors, which is like there should be enough people who understand this segment, that they should all they like invest money in this segment, or maybe they believe that this could be the biggest segment. And instead of like how many years it give them to get the exit, so maybe that amount of time can also be increased in the segment. Other than that, from the government side, still like there is so much to done from government side, but still we have like things are not that much hard that we can't build something because of the government. And the real challenge is not coming from that side. So like in terms of the challenges, still we have like good amount of market. So in reality, there are not many challenges to build something bigger here.
So anyway, thank you for all that. In conclusion, I'd like to hear your, suggestions for going forward, because, last in 2020, I read an Ernst and Young survey which said that the agri-tech market is at 250 to 60 million, and it can go for up to 24 billion by 2025. It is very rarely you hear of a market where someone says it can have a 100-fold growth. So I'd really like to, what is your roadmap? How we can, utilize this potential? What is your roadmap? Maybe for the government, like you already mentioned, legislation, industry, or maybe just parting 2-3 minutes. You can tell us, and then we'll conclude.
Again, so see, you yourself said it's a vast opportunity. We are talking about a trillion, kind of an opportunity. So if you talk about, all these services and products, right? And this market is also very much fragmented market. So no winner, can serve, complete market. So that's where I would see, a lot of us, right? So taking, kind of multi-billion-dollar kind of a GMVs, but patience is, very important. As Rajendra was saying, right? So it may take years, right? We cannot just see the kind of the growth that we have seen in the urban. So you need to be extremely patient, and of course you need to know what challenges you are solving for. And because of the once you are building the right model, right product, I'm sure we would be able to scale significantly. because that's where we are on this path now. Especially last 2 years, there is totally a different kind of the transformation that we have seen, which we did not really think, right? So but this is a reality today. And next 10 years, I would see a lot of us would be serving millions of farmers and big businesses, different models. And it's good again for Indian economy, Indian agriculture sector. And government, I believe, definitely would be playing a key role, because entire their policy, if you see, right, so towards the rural, towards the farmers or agriculture, so they have to work very closely with the startups like us. They cannot build the solutions independently, right? So I'm sure there will be a lot of convergence between the government and startups going forward.
So yeah, I think yeah, please. Yeah, so I think in terms of our roadmap, like I mentioned, I think we would continue to build a full stack platform, and some of the services we might be providing ourselves, some of the things we might be, bringing players to provide those services to the farmers. So I think in our mind, we would try to collaborate as much as possible with our peers and any other entities which would provide relevant services to farmers. In terms of our roadmap, the second point would be that we would not try to spread ourselves too thin. Wherever we are, we would try to go deep, and that's what we have done in the past, and it has worked out well for us. So those are the things that we have learned, and we'll continue to do that. As far as there is an aspect where we would want more facilitation by the authorities or the government, is basically the data availability part, where we can actually put that data that is there with the government to actual use. That's something that we would want to explore with the government wherever and whenever there is a adequate opportunity that arises. So those are the things that are on my mind when it comes to the roadmap of exploiting this huge opportunity.
Yeah, so and like what we believe, how many more people we can train and how many more farmers we can educate or can add to our platform. So we believe, I think platform kind of approach where anyone can come to that, and in terms of the market linkages or in terms of the selling product to the farmers or adding more services at one place, because we believe if all the services will be at one place, it will be more convenient to the farmers and for every business to become more efficient and become more sustainable. So I think our vision is to grow sustainable in coming years, and add more farmers, more these VLEs who can work with us in the in the areas where we are, and also expand in the new geographies that we can also get learning from there, and how to go to different areas, add different services, and take those directly to the farmers. So I think that's the vision, and we are almost aligned with that, with a strong team, and farmers' feedback help us to grow more. So I think that thing is working for us.
So anyway, thank you everyone. We in urban India, we take our technology for granted, but I think farmers need the technology the most. And it's quite heartening to hear you have all given actual workable solutions. So I'm very hopeful, and let's hope we can make 2020s the year of Indian agri-tech. That would be great. So thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Yeah, bye.